Hello, this is Zombified Hippie for Random Madness 856 on YouTube. And welcome back to Zombified Hippie Reads His Notes Aloud. That's pretty much what this is. Actually, what we're doing today is this is War Thunder. We're going to be doing a bit of a preview review thing. It's only in open beta right now. Anyway, I've had this planned for a long time. I've had this game for months. It's just I haven't really had time to do anything with it in terms of a review. Well, since this is my 100th subscriber milestone video, woohoo! I figured I would do this because people seem to think that I don't have this game, when I already have 2 videos of this game already up on my channel, so I guess my other videos aren't all that popular. I don't know. So this, like I said, is War Thunder. It's currently in open beta. It's free to play, so you can go check it out yourself after you watch this video, hopefully. This is patch 1.33.37.0. Guys, I hate to tell you this, but you spelled delete wrong. Okay. It's produced by Gaijin, or I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's Gaijin Entertainment. You can correct me in the comments if you want. And they are the makers of Modern Conflict, Modern Conflict 2, big shock there. Dance Magic, now that is a strange looking game. I'm not even kidding. And also Wings of Prey, among others. I don't know what those games look like beyond just their trailers. I've never played them, so I have no way of telling how well this stacks up against their other games. Now, if you haven't noticed by now, the game has a familiar theme. It's a Russian-made flight combat game. Yep. Apparently the Russians like doing these. Hey, I got no problem with that. They make a good game. Now, there's going to be something else. There's going to be tanks. And there's going to be ship combat in the final game. Right now, I think they're working on the tanks. So with that said, we'll get into the nitty-gritty here. You have 3 types of control. You can have, well, 4 if you count mouse aim. You have simplified controls, realistic controls, and full aircraft controls. Full aircraft controls give you everything. You can control the plane exactly like you would a real plane, if you have all the necessary gadgets and gizmos like rudder pedals and all that stuff. I don't have that, I just have a joystick. But we'll get into why I don't use that later. There are 3 game modes, or rather 5 or something like that. There's arcade, historical, and full real battles. I'll give you a hint. Arcade is the simplest mode, and then full real battles requires you to use the simulation type of control setup, so. You also have dynamic campaign where you can go into real flight instances from World War II and that era. And you can go in and try to rewrite history. It's pretty neat. You can also do single missions where you can just fly by yourself if you don't want to fly with other people for some reason. Oh, by the way, this is an MMO. Technically-ish. Yeah, I really don't know what the difference between an MMO is and just a whole bunch of people online on one server. I don't know. People tell me that there's a difference. I don't believe there is. something to do with a perpetual world or something. This game doesn't have that. Let me find where I am on my notes again, because I'm terrible at this. There's something really interesting about this game, and that's their upgrade system. This is a really unique idea. I don't think I've ever heard of this before. But what you do is you start out with a worn-out plane. Their reasoning behind this is because, as a new pilot, you usually don't get a brand new plane, or you didn't at the time. So what you do is you repair it till it gets to meeting a set of reference values where the plane would perform as new. One thing I've never understood, the F6F doesn't have a radiator. At least, I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I could be wrong. You can correct me if you'd like. But it's portrayed here as having a radiator. Go figure. Yeah. So basically, you repair all these things as you go along, earning experience and such, and these silver lions, which is the main currency. You also have these golden eagles, that's premium currency. Pretty much like every other game of this type. Research for planes is a little different. You have to go through the previous plane to get the next plane in a specific tree. So if I wanted, say... Except for over here. These are different, these are premium planes. If, say, I wanted the B-17, I would need to have first gotten the B-25. That's another thing. This game has long-range bombers. Which is pretty cool. And a lot of jets in the higher tiers. For weaponry, you can change what type of bullets you use. You use universal, one for ground targets, tracers, stealth, and it varies by plane, so I'm not going to go too heavy into that. Another interesting thing is you have this little hangar feature. You can actually go in and paint your plane, putting on decals as you see fit. You do some really interesting things with that, if you know what you're doing. But you also have this. You have these detailed plane descriptions that tell the history of the plane you're flying or about to purchase or whatever. Something else this game has is realistic damage models and damage physics. That's pretty neat too, though it gets annoying at times. Because one-shot kills are a thing, you can kill the pilot. In terms of graphics, you can see that this game is quite pretty. There are lots of options to optimize the graphics for your specific machine. There are options specifically for recording replays in super high quality so you can make videos for like YouTube and stuff. I'm not messing with that because that takes too much time to learn for me. I'm lazy. Now, some options are only available in the game launcher. Not in the game, but in the game launcher. Which kind of makes optimizing performance a bit tedious if you want to get down to the real nitty-gritty technical level. But really what's in the game options here, it gives you a pretty good range of stuff you can do. You can even do this. I don't know why you'd want to, though. The planes themselves are highly detailed. You can even see each individual rivet, which is awesome. In the cockpit view is really, really detailed, and you have functioning instruments, which is also awesome. You even get to see the trigger mechanism for the guns being operated when you're firing. I love that. Now, some aircraft don't currently have cockpit views. Those are the bombers, or some of the bombers, rather. And I guess that's because they just haven't gotten around to it yet. I think that's it for what I wanted to talk about in here. So we'll get down to gameplay. For gameplay, there are 5 basic modes. There's arcade mode, which is quick into action and allows all control types. The physics are simplified for accessibility for newer players. There are target lead indicators. There are multiple respawns depending on how many crews you have. That's something I didn't tell you about before. I'm just going to enter it in another little video. These are the crews. You can change your crew training. Basically, you can upgrade their skills based on how much experience you have, how many experience points you have for your crew. You start out with 3 crews for every nation. You can add more by spending Silver Lions or Golden Eagles for more than 5. And those are only really available in certain game modes like arcade. You generally don't get respawns in the other modes. For historical battles, you have more realistic physics and controls. You have no target lead indicator, so it's a little harder to aim. And there are real battlefields and situations from World War II-ish. I'm sure there are probably some from Spanish Civil War. Maybe not. There's a greater difficulty level in there as well. So, for full real battles, you have full simulation. It requires a joystick at the very minimum. It's a high level of difficulty, cockpit view only, so it's basically full simulation. Single missions and dynamic campaign, they can be done on any difficulty level, and they involve player or multiple players against bots. So you'll be defending a base, or you'll be bombing a base, or you'll be escorting a rescue operation or something like that. Really kind of neat. I like it. I like that mode a lot because sometimes you get tired of playing against other people. Other people tend to like to ram. I've already gone over the controls, and I do want to say more about the controls, though. Like I said, full simulation allows control of every controllable feature on the aircraft. The simplified, it basically gives you what you need to fly. It gives you control of your flaps, your landing gear. Oh, you can land and take off in this game. Sorry, I forgot to tell you that. Which is also cool. Even on an aircraft carrier, which is even cooler, but you pretty much have to have a carrier-based plane to do that. But if you're not doing full simulation, you're best off using mouse aim. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Because in arcade battles, if you're not using mouse aim, you are not going to be competitive. You just aren't. Why? Because mouse aim is perpetual easy mode. This is my main problem with the game. The joystick is at a major disadvantage when flying against anyone using mouse aim. That's a big problem for a flight combat game to have. It shouldn't be that the mouse aim has such an advantage over the joystick that a person familiar with using a joystick has extreme difficulty controlling their aircraft, while someone with mouse aim can just shred the competition. Shouldn't be that way. Now, it should be that joystick takes a little longer to master, but in my opinion it should have a little bit of an advantage over mouse aim, if anything. Simply because it is harder to master. Enough ranting about that. As for the community, I'm not very active in it. But from just the random battles I get in, most players seem alright. They seem like alright people, alright gamers. They're out to have a good time and not bother anyone. But then there are others that I like to call ragers. They tend to be incredibly immature and annoying. And I mean, they're fairly common. And I know that's just an internet thing, but they seem to be a lot more vindictive than, say, in any other game I've played. And that's saying something. Another thing about the community is that they've got Facebook stuff built into the game. Why? Seriously. I don't understand that. I guess it's so you can post your War Thunder stuff on Facebook and some World of Warplanes fanboy can come over and try to start a flame war with you? I don't know. And that goes for both fandoms. There seems to be a certain group in both World of Warplanes and War Thunder that hate each other. They hate each other. For some strange reason. And I don't quite understand that, because these games are so different that, honestly, they're really hard to compare. Anyway. So there's basically three groups of people. There are people who like World of Warplanes, there are people who like War Thunder, and there are people who like both. I fall into the category that likes both. Overall, I would say that this game is fun, but it can also be very frustrating because there's all these like one-hit kills and stuff, which is realistic because you can get hit by a stray bullet in your head while you're flying your plane and then pretty much dead. So far it's not my favorite game. But I would say that it's definitely worth playing. I enjoy it from time to time. Some days you go on a massive win streak and it's just awesome. Other days you have a terrible losing streak, but that's what makes the winning awesome in my opinion. And for those of you who want me to continue to go on about World of Warplanes versus War Thunder, I'm only going to do a little bit about that right here. World of Warplanes is less realistic than this. War Thunder has realism. World of Warplanes has fast action and a lot more adrenaline, in my opinion. This game here, War Thunder, seems to focus a bit more on luck. And I'm not saying that it's all luck. There's definitely some skill involved. But a lucky shot can take you out of the game really quick. Whereas in World of Warplanes, that's a bit more difficult to do. Other than that, I think it's going to be interesting to see when the Army and the Navy get put into this game. Because I don't know if they're going to all be playing in the same world or not. It seems to me that's going to be really hard to balance because aviation obviously has the advantage over anything on the ground or in the water. So with that being said, I'm going to conclude this review. I hope you enjoyed it. And try it for yourself. Heck, I recommend it. I highly recommend it. Good luck and good flying. Peace out.